This video is going over the assessment settings area of the test module. So you have come down here on your left side, you've decided you want to add a test, this opens up. I'm going to show you some other things, but I just wanted to show you all the different things here that you can choose at the beginning. So you remember your grading categories you add here. Remember, if you're going to get an actual grade, it has to be either a test module or an assessment module, and so here you can add the category. But I want to show you these three things here at the top. The free preview allows you, if you want to, when you are showing the course or you're having the outline of the course, especially when you have it on your dashboard or on a landing page, that it allows a student to see something without them being in the course. So that's what you would allow here. Most of the time you probably won't use that for tests. Notify instructor on student completion, especially if you have an asynchronous or anything else. This is great, so at least the instructor knows, yes, the student has completed their final exam or they've completed a test. It lets them know this. So if you want something to be on, you check it. You can check as many or as few as you want. This publishes the things that moved it, as we've talked about before, from draft into this part is active. So what this allows to do is the student would actually see it, and then when you come to look at the preview, you can see what's going on. Here's where you get to ask a lot of questions and really make some decisions on what the experience is you want the student. The randomized questions start with, basically says the same number of questions, but in different order. So every single time someone comes in and opens it up, they'll have the questions in a different order. So two people sitting side by side will see the same questions, but not in the same order. Makes it more difficult to be tempted to look at someone else's paper or someone else's tablet. So that's a really good one. And unless there's a real flow of the courses, it's highly recommended. This allowing unanswered questions, if you do not check this and the student doesn't fill it in, the quiz or the test module will not complete. It'll just hang. So if you're going to be like, okay, I will allow students to skip something, they don't have to answer, you have to check this. The limited questions, so you might have 45 questions that you have, and you may say, okay, but I only want them to take 20. Now this is nice if you've got a lot of questions that are covering the same areas and you want to just keep them in there and then just randomly choose which 20 that's going to do. Now this can be a problem if you want to make sure that your test is covering every objective, because it won't read that I want to have one from each objective that you're testing. It will just pick a random 20. So that's another option. Take only once. This is definitely if you don't want them to be back in there taking it over and over again. Hide the review. Now, when a student completes the test and they come in and they see their scores, they can see if they got a question right or wrong. Now, if you do not put this hide the review, they will see what is the correct answer. So yes, this could be where someone is taking the test, they get their answers, they see what the correct answer was, and then they could share that with someone else. If you don't want anyone to see what their answers are, I would hit this. So this is really important when you're maybe taking your summative kind of final exam or lesson quizzes. Maybe if you're having a shorter quiz where you want them to see what the right answer is, like the first time, like maybe a short lesson quiz, something like that, you won't want that. But that's an option for you to make that decision. The time test, this is where you're going to like this. If you took this, it will tell you can have how many minutes. So if you say this quiz is only going to take 15 minutes from the time they open it up, it will be available for them to answer for 15 minutes, and after that, the test will close. So this does allow them to have where you don't have an open-ended amount for your test. Requires a proctor code is just that. And in doing so, you can enter the proctor code. So this is, again, from the administrative side, instructor side. The student doesn't see this, but until they receive that proctor code, the test will not open up. So people use this for a final exam. They have a proctor in the class. That person gets the proctor exam. He gives it to the students. They open it up. They take the exam. That's it. Now you have some other options here, and we're going to go through those as well. The copy assessment, so let's say that you want to do a pre and post test. So you want the exact same little test at the beginning of a course and at the end of the course to measure how well learning has occurred. So you can create this assessment with all these different questions that you have. You can create it once. If you want to copy it, that's all you have to do is hit the copy, and then when you come down here, when you copy it, it will give a code. Then you just hit the import assessment. You enter that code right there, and then it will create it again. So you don't have to enter 20 questions twice if it's the exact same thing. And you may say, okay, maybe I want to use this as my final exam and I want to pull out just a few. This just allows you to do a variety of different things with that. The import questions allows you to take questions that you've created from maybe another document, you've created it elsewhere, and you can import them as a whole. So you'll do this. Now, they have to be in a certain format. They have to be in the Aiken format. And when you do that, then you can bring them in and preview them. Now, I'm going to hold off on this for a second and give you some more, because the next section is going to be how to create different courses or different test questions, the different methods you can use, and one of them will be this import question. But this at the beginning here is just to go through and allow you to make a lot of decisions as an instructor how the test module will work.